All right, we'll go ahead and get started here a little early. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here at 2024 CUSA Kickoff, presented by Sideline Design. We're joined by Sam Houston head coach Casey Keeler and student athletes Noah Smith and Kavian Gaither. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach before we jump to questions, both in the room and on Zoom. Coach, welcome.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I've been so impressed with my short time in Conference USA, with the class and the direction that this conference is going. Great to bring two just not only great players, but just phenomenal people to an event like this, and they get a chance to, be with the other players from the other teams, and it just creates a unique experience for them. So, excited about the season coming up. We lost 5 games on 5 plays. We have 7 games that we were in the fourth quarter that were one-score games. And so the challenge back to the staff and the players is, how are we going to get those 5 plays? Where are those 5 plays? Are they in conditioning? Are they in nutrition? Are they in us doing a better job in preparation? All those little things. So, since the end of the season, all the way up through the last workout, that has been the focus. Big difference between being 10-2 and 3-9. Big difference between it being 8-4 and 3-9. And that's what this team could have achieved last year, and we didn't. And so we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, how can we get better? If we do the same things, we're not going to get better. So we have to push ourselves to a little bit different level. And I thought we had a great spring, and I thought we've had as good a summer. This is my 31st year as a head football coach. And I think we've had as good a summer as I've seen a team have. And we've pushed really hard the conditioning. In our move to FBS, we've done a really good job with adding better nutrition for our players, and our weights are staying up. So again, there's been a transformation. There's been a transition from being an FCS program to an FBS program, and we recognize that we have to get a little bit bigger and stronger to compete. But I think we all feel really good about going into this season.
All right, we'll open up to questions. Anybody start? All right, we'll jump to one on the Zoom real quick from Kevin Trissolini. Go ahead.
Coach Keeler, I thought I might see it in Rehoboth Beach last week.
I'm hopping on a plane at 5 o'clock, Kevin, and I'm going to be back there for about 4 or 5 days before. So if you want to come down to Rehoboth and hang out, just let me know.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Casey, nice to see you. I just wanted to ask you, for a story I'm working on about Delaware's move up next year. What were the challenges, facilities, finances, finding better players that you guys faced in making the move up, and what do you see? Your old friends at Delaware, what kind of challenges or advantages and disadvantages do they have?
Yeah, so I think a couple things, Kevin. One of the things that we recognized is, there is such a commitment level in terms of your nutrition and all those kind of things. All those little things that, some of us take for granted, you can't take those things for granted because you're in so many 50-50 games. How are you going to win those 50-50 games? And Delaware's going to walk into an environment where they're going to be, playing teams just as good as them every single weekend. And that's what we found this past year. So I think the transition James Madison made was a lot easier than the transition that we had to make and now Delaware's making, where we had to sit in a conference for a year and not really play for anything. In our situation, we had 9 games. And so now all of a sudden, players, instead of, being engaged with at least, trying to win a conference, and they're playing for nothing. And now you have a bunch of guys who have red shirts, and they're saying, hey, Coach, boy, it'd be really nice to get a year in Conference USA. Okay, we're going to red shirt you. So we had to go through all those things. I'm not sure how Delaware's going to handle that transition. Ours was by necessity because, again, players would have probably left us because they wanted to have an opportunity to play for something. We had a 9-game schedule. So that was one of the big challenges. It would have been great if we could just come right into Conference USA. I think that would have made the transition a lot easier. Even though we maybe couldn't have played for a bowl game that first year, at least we were in that competition, and the guys saw we were in that competition, and we didn't go through this whole 9-game schedule and having to sit guys out. The other thing is the travel's real. I mean, we had a unique situation where we got home after playing Liberty. Tough loss, had the ball on the 2-yard line at the end of the game, and we got into our beds at 7 a.m. on Friday morning and had to spin around on a Tuesday and fly out to play New Mexico State. That's really hard. That doesn't happen normally. Normally, you're going to get a full week or maybe 6 days. But that was one that we saw just really kind of was really hard in the middle of the season to kind of go through. So that travels hard. Those midweek games are hard. It's tough getting oriented what day of the week it is in terms of your schedule. You plan out as much as you can, and then you realize we didn't anticipate that we were going to get home at 7 in the morning. Until you get to the airport, until you fly into A&M, until you drive back. So again. There's going to be some challenges, and I know Ryan and I have spoken about some of those challenges already.
All right, we'll jump here in the room in the middle.
Carlos Zimmerman, Sam Houston Radio. A couple questions first for Coach Keeler. Taking a shot on the young DC from Abilene Christian, Skylar Cassidy, as your defensive coordinator. Just what stood out to you about him before you hired him, and what's impressed you about him since he's arrived in Huntsville?
Well, we got a chance to play Abilene Christian, and they beat us. And again, it was during that that transition period that we were going through. But I remember talking to my offensive guys as we came off the field, and they're like, they did a pretty good job. They're really well coached. Great scheme. Players played with their hair on fire. And I wasn't necessarily looking to move in a direction of taking a young defensive coordinator until he got in my building and we got him up on the board. And I was blessed to be able to hire Dan Lanning on his first job. The first time he ever worked on a field was at Sam Houston 10 years ago. And I remember writing down next to Clayton Barnes, my general manager, Dan Lanning. That was Dan Lanning's interview. I mean, it was captivating. It was energized. It was, a guy who had a command of the game. And also you could tell, he was way beyond his years in terms of his experience. And so that's what we see in Skylar, and we haven't been disappointed. He's done a phenomenal job organizing recruiting. Now you live in the world where you're recruiting high school players, but you're also recruiting transfers. And it happens instantaneously. And his organizational skills have been just incredible. Also, he relates so well to the players. I think we put a really good staff together, with him. So guys have been really excited about that move, and again, I think we feel it was a really good hire.
Jump over here on the left.
Yes, Logan Treadaway from the NS News. Coach, how does it feel like being back in Frisco? After you win the national championship.
Yep. I've had one of my great experiences here, winning a national championship, and then also I had one of my most disappointing, losing a national championship here. But I remember 2010 coming here, and the mayor telling me, "Come back in a decade. Wait till you see this place," and he was not wrong. I mean, just amazing the growth and just how well planned out this community has been. I know it's one of the great places in America to live, and playing that national championship in Frisco, the guys stayed at the Star. They hung out with Tony Romo before the game. He happened to be, in town, and it was just such a neat experience playing a national championship here with how this place has grown. And again, it will always be a special memory for me, having a chance to win a national championship here.
All right, front right.
Colton Foster, the Huntsville Item. Kavion, what's it been like for you in your fourth year here, and then getting a new defensive coordinator as you kind of take over that lead role in the defense?
Yes, it's been a great challenge. I think it's just a change of scenery is all it is. At the end of the day, defense is a defense. We still have to go out there and execute, no matter who coach feels like he brings in or any of that. So it's still up to us in order to be the best defense out there.
Any more questions in the room? Up back there.
Coach Tony Thomas, College Football Dogs. You have a junior college All-American that's competing for your quarterback spot. What do you like about his skills, and how can he help your team in 2024?
Yeah, it's unique. I have two quarterbacks that lift in the second last rack where our strongest players are. They're lifting with the O-lineman. And so he brings a unique skill set where he's fast, he's tough, he's strong, and Hunter, is such a competitor. And so we feel we have 3 quarterbacks, and we're going to figure this thing out. And I don't really want to play 2 quarterbacks. Never has been my, thing. But if we have to, we will. And we think we have 3 guys that can go out and compete and win us ball games. So thought all 3 had a really good spring. But Hunter brings a unique physical presence that, he's a guy that I think a lot of people missed on after he won the national championship in the junior college ranks. And we were able to get him to our place, and it was a great take.
All right, back to the front.
Noah, just what's it been like for you throughout the spring and summer, kind of working with 2 new quarterbacks?
I feel like it's been decent. Hunter moved in. He's my roommate, so I feel like me and him, our connection, as it happened pretty fast, and we go get extra work, and just trying to stay healthy and trying to just get in the playbook with both of them and trying to get that connection.
All right, into the back in the middle.
Nicole, KBTX in College Station. For either player, last year there was a lot of talk about it being your guys' first year at Conference USA. Now it's your second. How do you feel like posed going into this season, knowing that you already have that first year under your belt?
I'll take it. I think last year was a very humbling and challenging experience for us in Conference USA. But I think that was what we needed in order to rise up for this year. I feel very confident this year, and I think all of us players too are honestly just looking for revenge. Honestly, I think we feel like we can play in this league. We had a lot of close games this year, and it's on us in order to make that happen and win games.
Okay. Any more questions for Coach or our student athletes? All right, Coach.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
time. We appreciate
All
it.
right.